Alright, what's up everyone? It's Jake Muller here again. Today we're going to be talking about how to do a 180 on skis. So the way I'm going to go about explaining this is relatively simple. I'm not going to make it super detailed. I'm going to keep it pretty easy to understand and not going to try to confuse you guys at all. So the biggest thing going into the jump you need to worry about is just your stance and the way you're positioned. Don't even think about doing the spin yet, because the spin's honestly going to distract you from the way you need to work. So when you're going into the jump, you're going to make sure you got pressure on your shins. So you want to lean forward a little bit, and as you're going in, crouch down with have your knees bent, so that way you're stable going into the jump. And as you go into the belly of the jump, you're going to want to start kind of coming up with the jump. So as you come up, you want your shoulders and everything to come straight up, and you want to be looking straight ahead. You want to look at the horizon or whatever's ahead of you for as long as you can. You don't want to be looking down at your feet or anywhere else. It's going to be super important that you look straight ahead for as long as possible. So as we're going up the jump, we're going to pressure on your shins, come up, and you're going to go straight up, arms up and everything. And then as you start coming up, just barely turn your shoulders the tiniest bit, but continue looking forward. So you're going to come up, 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 and then start turning. You're going to go up, 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 over, and then you're going to do the full rotation. Okay, let's go over a few examples right now. On this specific trick, I was going off the knuckle, and that's going to be important, and I did that for a reason. I did that because doing a 180 is pretty much a first spin you'll learn. You can't really do much less than that, because if you do a 90, you'll land sideways. So 180 is going to help illustrate what I was talking to about earlier, about learning to pop correctly. So a 180 specifically is going to be more intended to teach you how to pop rather than spin, but it's a good mixture and a transition between the two. So I'm going to go through a couple examples and show you how it looks for me. I have a GoPro in my head in one of the videos to show you kind of how I see it as I'm doing the trick and explain kind of the thought process. So watch as I'm coming into this jump. I'm very focused and kind of looking exactly what I'm going to do and where I'm going to do it. So as I come into this flat part, the transition, I start to bend down a little bit. And as I come up the top, or the incline, I pop and I kind of explode off that. Notice how my body's straight and my arms are both out. One's not higher than the other. They're pretty level. And then kind of halfway through the trick, I start to turn my head and look towards where I'm going. So let's piece this together a little bit. So as I'm coming in, right about here, I start to crouch down because I'm kind of starting to go up the incline, going from the flat to the incline. So that's when you want to make sure you're stable going into the jump. And then as you go up, you're going to use that energy and you're going to push up equally off the heels of your feet, straight up so that you explode, and you're going to go up the arms. Pay attention to my arms go up as well. And then I'm straight up and down in the air. So that's going to be the first thing we're going to work on, is making sure that your pop is kind of gradual over the incline. And now it might not even be a bad idea to learn how to pop a little bit too much to make sure you're doing it. So in this shot right here, I exaggerated a little bit on the pop, and I kind of threw my hands up higher. But it illustrates the point that you really need to make sure you're really exploding off that takeoff and using a lot of energy. And if that's what it takes to make sure your body's straight and everything's unlocked in the air, to make sure your knees are straight and your waist and everything, then that might be a good idea. Here's a video of me doing it with the camera on my head. So watch as I come and I pop up. I'm looking straight forward. It's not about till maybe 40% of the way through my air time that I actually turn my head. So let's go through that one more time. So as I'm coming in, look how I'm looking forward. You really want to spot out into the horizon as far as you can. And as you come up, stare at that for pretty much as long as you're comfortable doing, and maybe even more than you're comfortable doing, because when I was learning how to do these, I definitely would turn my head a little too quick, and it really helps to make sure you're not rushing the takeoff, to make sure you're looking ahead, not down at your feet or where you're going to land, but look straight ahead as far as you can and as long as you can. So it's pretty much right until here that I start turning, and that's that's what I keep saying, about 40% through your air time. So you want to be looking ahead for a good maybe the good first second you're in the air. You want to be looking straight ahead. And that's going to help make sure that your skis aren't popping off on the lip. I see a lot of kids do that sometimes. They'll go to rush a 360 or a 540, or maybe even a 180, and their ski will pop off, and they think it's their dins. And sometimes it can be, but sometimes it's because they're ripping their skis and they're trying to spin so fast before they're even in the air that they end up popping their skis off. So if you look ahead and you make sure you pop evenly off each ski, it's going to help you a lot in making sure that your rotations, you're not off axis in the air and they're able to land good. So especially for this trick, one of the things I want to stress the most is just making sure you're looking forward a lot longer than you're comfortable doing. A lot of people, their heads will already be turned to the side before they even get off the jump. And, I'm guilty of this. I've done it, and I still catch myself doing it sometimes. So don't think, you should be able to just fix it like that. It takes some time, and you need to focus on it. And I'll put some examples in here of me looking too early, and some bigger tricks, it's even harder. So you need to make sure you're really focusing on looking straight ahead for as long as possible to make sure your skis are going off the jump straight and they're not turning before they're off the jump. Okay, so watch this clip as I now transition to the bigger jump. So as I go off, nothing really changes. My skis still stay in front of me for as long as I can hold, and then I land and I look over my left shoulder. It's important to know which shoulder you're going to look over when you land. I'll get into that in a second. But watch this other angle. As I go off, nothing changes at all. I kind of crouch down. As I come in, I jump and I explode. And I'm still facing straight, still looking, still looking. Then watch, there I turn my head and I kind of give into the rotation and I come down and get ready to land backwards. And that's going to be really important to this trick. So I want you to pay attention to my head right here. As I come off the jump, my skis are facing forward. Now watch my head and look where I'm looking. I'm looking straight, I'm looking straight. Then I start to turn my head right about there and I get ready to prepare for my landing. And when you're landing, you want to make sure you're being conscious of which way you want to look down the mountain. I am more comfortable looking over my left shoulder, so I go ahead and, I land and I look over my left shoulder. But know before you do the trick that you're going to have to pick your left or your right shoulder, so that way you don't run into anyone that could possibly be in your landing. It's important to have your arms out, especially on this trick, because it teaches you balance in the air. And a lot of times, if you don't have your arms out and up, then you're going to have trouble balancing in the air. So if they look like this, you're not in the worst shape possible. I definitely didn't do it the best. You want to make sure they're out more like a T, like I did in some of the other examples. But it's going to teach you how to balance yourself in the air. So right now, when I get into showing you guys a few examples with grabs, you understand why having the arms out is important. A 180 is really a trick you're not going to do a lot for, competitions or anything. It's a trick that you kind of do for fun sometimes on a fun day, or if you're going to set yourself up for a big switch trick you haven't done before, like a switch 540, a switch 900, a switch 7, whatever it is. It's more of a setup trick or a fun trick. And so a lot of people that do them, try to make them look cool and steezy and stuff. So a way you can do that is adding a grab in there or a shifty or something. That's not the most important part. I think learning a 180, you're going to want to learn more of the fundamentals behind spinning and popping. That way you can move on to 360s and stuff. I don't think people would watch this video to learn how to do a 180 to make them look cool. But anyways, if you wanted to, you can add a grab in there. You're not supposed to, grab until maybe halfway through the trick, so add it in a little bit later. But have fun with it. And once you learn to do with the arms out and everything, grabbing is going to become really easy. So, make sure you have your opposite arm out. That way you can balance yourself in the air. And that's pretty much most of it. You can do any grab you want. And 180 is a really easy trick to try it with. So with all that, my name's Jake Moeller again. So go ahead and check out skitutorials.com. And if you want, follow me on Instagram at Molsky17. But I'll see you soon with a new tutorial. Thanks.